Okay, so another live stream of me live coding my game Fleet Commander, which is a sort of interaction fiction simulation type game. At the end of the last session, I had created some systems. I've expanded that a little bit and also thrown in an SVG render, which right now I've broken. Let's take a quick look at that. So the code for doing that is in the sector template here, the sector scene. And it's actually relatively simple. So we have the sector here, and then we have its systems, and we do a for each over the system. So we're doing a bit of SVG here. So we've got an SVG here, and we're just plotting some circles, all dead simple. The reason not working is because I was messing around with the generation of sectors, of systems rather, and if I go find it, see, I've moved in here. We've changed what it uses, so we're not setting color. We could now say we return red, for example. That should crash. In fact, why does it crash? Let's take a return. Really? 6587. Okay, so runtime.js is the game basically. So all of your .res files turn into this runtime.js file, and remember, go to line in the thing. Here we go. What was it? 6587. No, that's not what we're doing. Go 6587. Oh, yes. Okay. Right. Yes. Now I understand. Well, do I? Do I understand? I've changed the way. Go back here. Yes. There we go. My mistake. Here we go. So that's now working again, but that hasn't worked. That's because it's not color, it's star. But if I just put color back here for a second, they should all be red now. No. I thought I took away the code that created those random colors. Interesting. Oh, we assigned the color in here. Okay, fine. So in fact, we don't even need to do that. There we go. Okay. So we're generating a set of systems up to 100. I still haven't worked out what the distance is. Now, I'm playing with the notion of actually creating proper spectral star systems. So star count, spectral class, temperature. That's something I could work on. But in fact, okay. So the introduction, what is happening at the beginning of the game. So you wait for the sound of a klaxon blaring and your terminal, let's see your terminal, I might come up with some different terminology. Okay. Right, so now we want to tell Res where the game starts. So it was starting here. We're going to now SC intro, but we also need to load the intro scene. I'm loving how fast the compiler is now. Okay, boom, get up. Okay, there is no card for that. So card C intro 2. So what we might do, let's play with this layout mode stack. Okay, that didn't work. So the stack layout mode lets us simulate multiple cards. Cannot read push. This.contents.push. I haven't done much with this, so this.contents is undefined. Well, that seems fairly serious and not good. What is this here? This is the window. Okay, this almost certainly should not be happening. We're in the stack layout, but this is the window? Right, that's bad. That's very bad. Alright, let's just debug this. Okay, this is currently res stack layout. Okay, that's right, but how does it end up? This.contents. This.contents is still undefined. It is a property here. This, I think, is about this, isn't it? So when I changed this stuff, that will work here. Hold on, I need to fix that in the res source code. View. When I rewrote all this code, it looks like I didn't test the stack layouts. There's still some kind of problem with it, so it's set to be an array, which is fine. This should be all right. Let's just rebuild. And then just rebuild this. Okay. And right, we're still dropping into the debugger, but that's okay. Okay, that looks like maybe we fixed the problem. Not sure why I didn't fix it before. There is no card 2. Oh, actually, there is a card 2 now, so see intro 2, that should play that card. It doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to do anything at all. I suspect this might be about you know what? I did just make some changes to the classes res scene and res game, and I'm wondering now whether the view code that installs the listener maybe, so we've got these transformers here div.resCard, that looks okay. Div.frontFace looks okay. Div.frontFace, div.frontFace doesn't look like that should be a problem. But the thing is, it looks like, well, there's a very easy way to tell. Let's put it back into this mode. Right, okay, so that's, just make sure. Right, okay, that's more of a problem because that should be working now. What have I broken? I've broken something fairly serious if I can't click on a link. A card. Okay, let's just what have I done? Let's put this back to SC Academy. Okay. Oh, shoot. I've done something disastrous here. That definitely, okay, so that's quite recent, and certainly since I've done this, that definitely speaks to something having gone wrong in the top level transformer code. The event link transformer looks like it has not installed properly. Okay, so we need to debug that. Res link, was it event link transformer? Here, so we want to go on a break here. Okay, right, so what is this transformer? That is the event link transformer, so we want to go in and have a look at how this is working. This dot elements, let's see what it's doing for that. This dot selector, div front face. Okay, so a data event. That looks reasonable. So let's inspect. Can we not inspect while we're in here? I have to do it. No. Okay, so the first column, that's got a res front. It's res front face, not front face. Okay, boom, right. So where I've got res front face. So front face, boom, right, okay, yeah. What I did was I prefixed, there we go, yeah. I added a res prefix to all of the CSS styles that I've introduced to kind of namespace them. And then haven't fixed this. div.resCard, I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Right, so let's just rebuild and recompile the game. And with a bit of luck, yeah, okay, that's, oh, right, yeah, take the breakpoint away. Okay. Boom. All right. Yeah, of course, we don't have any situation now. Okay, so we just fixed a bug in res that we've introduced. That's handy. So we can now make this SC intro again. And we now get the intro, and we get up, and getting up is now loading a card. That's good. So that was actually a red herring. We can now set the layout mode back to stack and see what we get. Okay, that's still failing. The stack layout I haven't used in a long time, so there's probably still problems here. Cannot set property flipped to res block. That would also be res block, yeah. Let's not try and do it in here. Go back into res view, res block. Res block has a flipped property, but we don't let you set it. Okay, we'll rebuild res and rebuild the game. And hopefully, okay, right, so not quite. Unless I set it back to regular mode. No, it is in stack layout mode. So it hasn't quite worked. Looks like I've broken the stack layout. Well, I'm not going to spend any time fixing that now. I know it's broken. That could take a while to fix. So let's not try and fix that. Okay, so I don't like great walls of text. I want to introduce the idea. You get up and look. You get up and stand in front of your console. Right, so what can you do here? Well, the first thing you can do is so the card's going to be C intro call command. So call command deck. A C intro look scan. Look at the scan. Okay. All right, no such ID found. That's good. That's what we expect. For the moment, we're just going to put these into a list. So what can I do here? So this is kind of equivalent to twine passages. This card link here basically says, if you click this link, load this card. So it's just like twine passages, really. Res used to do all kinds of things like having markdown and various stuff like that. And in the end, I realized that I'm happy enough just writing HTML. So intro, call command. So we're going to try and sort of introduce the story. Card C intro. Look scan now. This is Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this opportunity for the player to put in their name. I don't think we have an object for the player yet, so let's create one. So we will create an actor object. We'll make that a global. I think actually there may be a hard coding for the player. Yeah, const player equals player false. We can. I'm going to get rid of that now. That was done before I had the globals mechanism. So now I don't need to do that. I can just say global true here. So we don't need to special case that anymore. Give a name, and this can now be initialized. And this can be male names dot random element. Family name, and this also can be initialized. Family name is random element. Okay, so let's see how that looks. So we're in the debugger, can't call set attribute, family name, undefined value. Okay. Really? What's the initializer def here? Family names dot random element. That looks all right. Yeah. Of course, I've changed the way this works. That used to just be bare code. It now wrapped into an immediate function. So we do need a return now. That hopefully fixes that. There we go. Okay, so we get up and we call command deck, and that's not worked. Why hasn't that worked? Asia, there's nothing in there. Okay, that's a little puzzling. I mean, I can complete the tag, but at the same time, actually what we can do is we can go into the intro scene here and make this, make it start there. Okay, so for some reason, input tag, is it something to do with that? No. What's going on here? Okay, this stuff used to work. Ah, okay. Right, yeah, this is that's a, well, it's part of a bug. This should be an error in the expression parser, but it's not. That's something we need to fix up. So we can now put that back. Okay, so that's given name, that's family name, okay. So you see if we by initializing this here. We've given the player initial values, but we can just we can put in what we want. So I could say it's me. Okay. And what we're going to do is just going to put this here, card C, intro tag. We're going to bind player. Okay. Reese Silver, we'll call him Reese Copper. Just okay. So that's not right. That is not right, and that is probably because in trying to debug the other problem, I took out the res live here. Let's put that back in there. Oops. What just happened there? Shit. What happened there? Well, that's unexpected. Dispatch response false. Okay. We got an input event. Delete control backwards. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Is that because if I just delete a character, something's changed. So the problem here is that we're getting an event here, and nothing is handling that event. If I come back to this point here, receiver.handle browser event doesn't know what to do with this event. So if we go find handle browser event, which is going to be in the res game, this I'm a little puzzled as to why. So if we go find handle browser, oh no, it's not. It's in res event. Where are we? Of course, I moved it. Handle browser event here. Okay, so we've got a bunch of event types, like click, input, and so forth. And it's returning unhandled true, which is possibly not what we should actually be returning anymore anyway, but that is odd. I wonder, is it because I didn't put this inside a form? Is it because it's not inside a form? There's an easy way to test that. Okay, well it's not because it's not inside a form. Okay, that's interesting. We're getting an input event. Is that right? Well, let's do that again. Okay. Right, so we got an input event. There's this delete content backward event. I am tempted to think that the reason for this may be again related to changes I've made there. So do we have a card div? We do actually have a card div, so it's found the right card. So it's not that. Does that card have a data set? Card ID is intro call command, which is right, yeah. And it gets the card and it runs the input event on the card. I think this is where, of course, the card doesn't define an input event. That handler will be undefined, which returns false, which is exactly what it would expect it to return, false. Okay, so handle browser input event is returning false. Yeah, so we get a false here. Yeah. I mean, one easy way of solving this would be to add an input event handler, but we really don't need one because something's different. It should just be updating the value. Well, that is a puzzle to be sure. So events should return something different. And it probably should return, if you look at res event here, we've got, where is it? No op. So it should probably be returning that instead of false. Inside here, where is it? Handle browser input event. So if run event is returning false, so what we probably should do is so if that returns false, okay, so if that doesn't return false, we return that, otherwise return a no op. That should fix the problem, kinda. Clearly this code needs a bit of love. We should probably do the same thing here. In fact, anywhere where we're calling run event. But even here, I don't know if we should ignore this. I mean, it's expedient for now, gets me around this problem. Or does it? Oh, yeah, of course, put in a thing. Well, that didn't appear to work. Did I actually rebuild that? Oh, actually, I'm not sure I rebuilt the game code. That might be. Let's turn that breakpoint away. Okay, right. So something's changed there. And indeed, the res live isn't right. So something's definitely changed because instead it's triggering an input event instead of. Well, this looks like it's turning into a whole session of just debugging, not actually building the game, but debugging errors in the res event handling code, which even I hate looking at. So I can't imagine anybody else would ever want to know about it. What should be happening is if we go to res view and we go find the input transformer. So we have an input transformer here. And the input transformer shoot. You idiot. Right, okay. Res bind. Res live is for the form. If you need a form, we don't need a form. Is it that? It is that, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, okay. I may well have just forgotten how these work. So when we transform the element, there's a text input. I don't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I completely forgot how this stuff works, didn't I? That should be player.family name. It's but you bind it to a thing. Yeah. There we go. Right. So no, just me being stupid. Okay, so this in fact works if I remember how I make it work. So you bind it to an object attribute value. We can also use a form and then use a form submission, but for things where we just want to bung a value into some stuff a value into an object, we can do that. I don't know what I was thinking there. Clearly, I'm more tired than I thought because that was basically a lot of time wasted for nothing terribly interesting. Of course, it rebuilt. Okay, so we get the players put in their name, and we can see that that name has been set. Okay. I guess it's actually kind of bothered me that I've made so many silly mistakes there. Um, and it's quite clear there is still some code that needs all fixing up. But didn't really make a lot of progress there. What can I make some progress on? I've got some writing to do, but I'm not really feeling very inspired. So the idea here is the intro. The Beyonders attack the gate. The gate gets knocked out. This is really an opportunity for the player to pick their difficulty level. Which is, do we call in reinforcements before the gate is hit? Does the flagship survive? So this is kind of easy mode. This is medium mode, and we're on our own. Hard mode. So the idea here, reinforcements, we get extra ships, plus the flagship survives. The flagship is going to be a battleship. So it survives. It might need to be repaired. We're on our own. We've just got a small fleet of ships with which to engage with the game. Okay, let's do something else. Let's do something else for a little bit just before I knock this on the head. So I'm adding ships to a fleet object. Let's go find the fleet. So the shipyard builds ships, and if I come in, right, let's just go back to here and set this to, where's it, fleet. So if we go here, SC fleet. Okay, so we've got a few frigates. So the starting fleet, if you're in hard mode, is going to be 5 frigates, 2 destroyers, and a cruiser. If we go in here, so we're setting for the ship class crew level. And then we create the ship, and we've got this fleet, and the fleet's got ships in it. And then we have the ship. And we've got the frigate, destroyer, and cruiser, and ultimately we're going to have ship T, battleship. Let's not do that. So, what do we actually want to do? So any given ship is going to have its current crew level. So we've set the idea for each of the different classes what their minimum and optimum crew levels are. So for a destroyer, we should have 40 crew. As a skeleton crew, we could have 40 crew, and the ship will still operate, albeit at a lower level of effectiveness. Its optimum crew level is 60. If it's got 60 crew, it will operate at the right level for that crew. And then bigger ships. So by the time we get to a battleship, battleships have 100, as a dreadnought, battleships have 120 and 160. So we need 160 crew for the optimum performance. So our ship is going to have its current crew. And I don't know if this will work. Return this.class.opt crew. Will work. Let's see. So what we're going to do is we're going to change. No, I thought it might not work. I suspect it's because. Okay, well first let me just check. Did I just call it opt crew? Opt crew level. All right, well that would be, it still might not work, but at least it won't be because of that. Yeah. Op crew level is undefined. So this is the frigate. Yeah, right, okay. So here's the reason why that doesn't work. We've set the class ID here. I suspect this.class ID is not set yet. Yeah. So at the point where it's being initialized, this hasn't been set yet. So this is not going to work. So we can't initialize it like that. We're going to have to initialize it in the same place that we create the ship. So we set its class here. So ship.current crew. We did use level, didn't we? We did use level, crew level, min crew. Right, so we're going to call this crew level. So that's, we're just doing that there to say that's going to be a thing. Crew level equals ship.class.opt crew level. So we'll just copy that across when we're creating the other types of ship. Now, that should get rid of that bug. Yeah, it does. So let's go into the fleet display, and what we're going to do is just put in here ship.crew level and just verify that that's, yeah. Oops. Okay, right, so we got 40 crew on our frigate, 60 on our destroyer, and 100 on our cruiser. That's good. Now what we want to do is come here, and we want to give these ships officers. So every ship is going to have a captain. So let's do that first. Now, see, I'm not sure about doing that in here. I think we should do it at this level. So let's have create captain. I mean, this is really getting into sort of how do you build procedural generation, and I don't know. I'm not an experienced game designer, so I don't quite know how to go about doing this. But that's what I'm going to learn. So we're going to create a captain. So inside Fleet Commander, did we actually generate any officers? We've got crew.res. We go in here. We do have a template for an officer. Yeah, we do, don't we? Because in the academy, we create a whole bunch of ensigns. Yeah. Don't remember where it happens, but is it in here? Yeah, we've got this academy object, and we've got an officer template here, which is this jobber here, and yeah. Okay, so we create a bunch of ensigns. Right, so I'm just going to do this. So it's captain, it's true. Because we might call this T ensign and say this is an ensign, but I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this now. So all of this stuff is going to be the same, only the rank here is going to be captain. We create an officer. He'll start out as an ensign. So let's make his rank captain. At the moment, officers don't really have anything that says what they are. So I've been thinking about this. They need to have different abilities. So we've got abilities and we've got psychology. We might call it personality. So leadership, strategy, tactics, navigation, science, medical, helm, weapons. So this needs more design. So this is kind of strategy is kind of sort of how well they conceive of a plan, how well they execute a plan. So captains need these skills here: navigation, sort of ability to create optimum courses, avoid hazards, ability to survey systems and planets, similar tasks. I think medical's fairly obvious. Ability to pilot a starship. So in the Fleet Commander law, AI is not a thing. So humans are doing this stuff, which will be important because the Beyonders are probably going to be AIs, so they're going to be very good at this stuff, better than humans. Ability to diagnose illness and cure it, among other things. So we've got a number of stations. So we've got the first officer, the captain, XO will depend upon these. So we'll have the navigator, science officer, medical officer, the helm, and the tactical officer operating these stations. And then we're going to have personality. And at the moment, I'm just going to have boldness. And what I'm doing is I'm assigning D10. I'm basically assigning open-ended D10 roles to each of these things. So science, medical, helm, weapons, and so leadership, strategy, tactics, navigation, science, medical, helm. I mean, I could maybe come up with something more sophisticated later. Let's just see how that works. You're right, it's not a function. That's another bug I managed to introduce. Amazing. I found so many bugs today, it's untrue. Okay, so if we go to the academy now, let's look at Penelope Hendricks. So academy, oh yes, it's not a global, didn't make it a global. Academy, cadets, yeah, okay, cadets naught is going to be Penelope, strategy score is 2, tactics is 3, leadership is 2. Oh, looks like Penelope is not going to be going anywhere. What's her helm score? 1. Navigation 6. All right, okay. That's I've already forgotten what I called them. Helm, science of 7. Okay, maybe she's going to be in the science crew. All right, so let's go print these. Okay, so let's for the moment I'm just going to cadet.strategy. Let's do leadership first. So strategy, tactics. So then we've got nav, science, medical, helm, and weapons. Okay. I do have notes on some of the psychological stuff somewhere, but I'm going to need to go find it. Did I get rid of the TR or did I not have a TR? Anyway, let's put TR in there. Okay, so we'll go back to the academy. Okay, so we can see here Greer is going to be an excellent navigator. Travis could well be the reincarnation of Bones McCoy. Davina looks like she's going to become a tactical officer, although her leadership potential is very low. 991. So Travis is a leader, good at strategy, terrible at executing tactics, and a doctor. Okay, so this is a pretty crappy way of doing things, I think. But it is a start. So we now have officers having some things. These are ensigns, so actually what we might do is completely rethink how this works. But we now have given these people something. So if we go in here now, so we create a captain. So for this frigate, add frigate. So it adds a ship, which copies the frigate. I think that all right, this requires more thought, and I find it hard to think on stream, quite honestly. So we have a captain. So frigate's a small ship, so it's going to have a captain. Does every ship have an executive officer? I guess it makes sense. Now, depending on its role, I guess they're all going to have a science officer, medical officer. I mean, these ships are going to be off out in the thing. Tactical officer. What do we get? Helm officer. Navigator. I guess the question is that the stations don't change, but the number of officers that you might have that could perform at any station will change. Okay, I think I've been going over an hour, so I think I'm going to stop there. I didn't make remotely as much progress as I'd like, and I did end up fixing quite a few bugs. I guess wasn't quite the exercise for today, but I have fixed some bugs. Yeah, well, hooray for fixing bugs. Next time, I think maybe I should just focus on doing one thing and have my notes handy. So I'm going to stop there. If anybody does soldier through watching this, well, thank you for doing so. I can't imagine it was that interesting, but I think interesting might be too high a bar to shoot for right now.